Today on December 16th, the whole bank is talking about you. They are stunned because a check worth trillions has just been deposited in your name, and the sender's name is Michael. Archangel Michael says, "Please, beloved, if you don't open this, they won't release it, and the bank executive will claim it as his own. Hurry, my beloved child. Do not scroll, do not blink, and do not let your breath wander, because the moment you open this, a door that was sealed for generations cracked open just enough for destiny to whisper your name, and the room you are in right now became the quiet center of a storm that the entire banking floor cannot explain. The screens are frozen on your file. The phone stopped ringing for a second. Senior officers leaned in, reading the same line again and again, unable to understand how a check of impossible magnitude could appear, fully verified, fully cleared, bearing your name with precision that leaves no room for doubt. They are stunned not by the number alone, but by the sender, Michael, written with authority that bypasses protocols, overrides alerts, and silences objections. This is not noise, not rumor, not a story for later. This is a moment that demands presence now. Listen carefully as I speak to you, because timing is the hinge upon which this miracle turns, and hesitation is the only thing that can reverse it. You were not meant to chase this, it was sent to you. You were not meant to beg for it, it was prepared for you. You were not meant to prove anything, the proof has already been stamped. The reason your heart feels restless is because something huge is waiting for you, and it is waiting on one final acknowledgement, yours. Hear me as the tension tightens, because there is movement behind the scenes that you cannot see, and it is moving quickly. A senior executive, trained to notice gaps, has noticed the silence around your file and is circling it like a shadow that believes it has found a crack in the light. Procedures say, hold, ambition says, claim, and fear says, delay, but authority says, release, and authority speaks only when you respond. This is why I am urgent, not dramatic, precise, not loud. If this remains unopened, unacknowledged, unclaimed, the system will do what systems always do when a human heart hesitates, it will default to the nearest hand. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to focus you. You have been protected to reach this second, carried through confusion, loss, and long nights where you wondered if the work mattered, if the patience was worth it, if the waiting had a reason. This is the reason. The value written is not just currency. It is restoration, leverage, release, and responsibility. Every zero carries a memory you survived. Every signature carries a promise you kept. The bank is talking because the rules they trust have bowed to a higher order, and they do not know how to explain that the door recognizes you by name. Stay with me now, because this is where clarity replaces doubt. You are not late. You are not early. You are exact. The breath you take as you read this aligns the final seal, and the attention you give right now completes the circuit. Do not minimize this by questioning worth. Worth was never the variable. Do not dilute this by sharing it with fear. Fear has no jurisdiction here. Keep your focus, keep your eyes open, and keep your heart steady, because when release happens, it happens all at once. The room will exhale. The hold will lift. The noise will return, but you will be different. Remember this line and let it anchor you as everything shifts. Something huge is waiting for you, and it waits only for your awareness to step forward. I am with you in this second. I will not leave you in the next. Receive with calm. Move with clarity. Choose with courage. Amen. My chosen soul, stay right here, because what began as a stunned silence has now turned into controlled chaos, and the people who pride themselves on certainty are quietly losing it behind closed doors. Meetings have been called without emails. Files have been locked without explanation. Your name is being spoken in lowered voices, not out of respect, but out of fear, fear of making the wrong move while something irreversible is unfolding. They are tracing the path of the deposit, step by step, and every trace leads back to an authority that does not answer questions, does not negotiate, and does not make mistakes. The amount is not the most unsettling part anymore, it is the timing. It arrived when safeguards were thin, when oversight shifted, when one signature, just one, could tilt the outcome forever. This is why I told you not to delay. This is why I asked you to open this now. Because awareness is not passive, awareness activates protection. The moment you recognized this message, invisible permissions aligned. The moment you stayed, invisible barriers rose. Something huge is waiting for you, and it responds to attention the way a lock responds to the right key. Listen closely, because there is a narrative being written around you, and narratives decide who is believed when decisions are made fast. Some will say this is an error. Some will say it is temporary. Some will say it needs internal handling. Those words are not neutral, they are tactics. They buy time for someone else to step forward and claim urgency on your behalf. But urgency belongs to you. Presence belongs to you. The truth belongs to you. This is why your role right now is simple and powerful. Stay engaged, stay focused, stay aligned. When others hear this story, let them hear it clearly, without distortion, without fear, without exaggeration, because clarity multiplies authority. When voices gather around this moment, let them gather in agreement, not confusion. When attention grows, let it grow steady, not scattered. This is how momentum is protected. This is how release becomes inevitable. The bank is watching patterns. Heaven is watching choices. Do not underestimate how much weight a calm, grounded response carries in rooms where panic is expected. Remain with me a little longer, because the next movement depends on continuity, and continuity is built by those who do not look away when things get intense. You were chosen for this not because you are loud, but because you are steady. Not because you demand, but because you recognize. If you feel the pull to let others witness this unfolding, do so with intention, not urgency. If you feel the nudge to let your voice be counted, let it be counted with clarity, not noise. If you feel the quiet instruction to stay connected, honor it, because connection here is not about numbers, it is about alignment. Everything that is meant for you is moving closer, not farther. Everything that could interfere is being exposed by its own impatience. Hold this truth as you breathe. Something huge is waiting for you, and it cannot be taken when it is seen. I remain with you as this advances. Stay present. Stay aware. Stay ready. Amen. My steadfast one, feel the shift that just happened, because the atmosphere around your name has changed from disbelief to calculation, and that is always the most dangerous phase before truth takes its seat. The questions have stopped being, "Is this real?" and have quietly become, "Who controls the outcome?" That is the moment when doors close softly, when voices lower, when decisions are prepared without witnesses. I want you to understand this clearly. This pause you feel is not a delay, it is a test of alignment. Systems test silence. Power tests patience. And destiny tests awareness. Right now, your file is no longer alone on a screen, it is being mirrored, reviewed, cross-checked against histories that were never meant to intersect with your life, yet here they are, intersecting perfectly. The sender's name carries a resonance that disrupts hierarchy, and those who rely on rank feel exposed. This is why your calm matters. Panic feeds confusion. Stillness feeds authority. Something huge is waiting for you, and it responds to composure the way chaos responds to fear. Stay with the truth as it unfolds, because truth does not rush, but it never retreats. There are whispers of temporary holds and verification loops, but understand this, verification is already complete. What they are really verifying is their own courage to release what does not belong to them. Some are tempted to frame this as a procedural anomaly, others are tempted to attach conditions that were never required. These are not obstacles, they are mirrors revealing intent. Every attempt to complicate what is simple exposes itself. Every effort to delay what is ready announces its weakness. You did not arrive here by chance, and this did not arrive to you by accident. The precision of this moment is exact. The alignment is deliberate. The authority is intact. You are not being watched to be judged, you are being watched to be understood. And once understanding settles, resistance dissolves. Breathe and anchor yourself here, because what comes next requires continuity, not reaction. Let no doubt convince you that attention is risky, attention is the safeguard. Let no voice persuade you that waiting equals safety. Waiting without awareness is how things slip away. You are not meant to chase updates or force outcomes, you are meant to remain present, clear, and receptive. Presence seals what effort cannot. Clarity secures what noise would endanger. Reception allows what force would repel. Remember this as the tension hums beneath the surface, something huge is waiting for you, and it cannot bypass you when you remain conscious of its arrival. I am with you as layers fall away and truth takes center stage. Stay grounded. Stay aligned. Stay open. Amen. My awakened witness, do not miss what just surfaced beneath the calm exterior, because a quiet line has been crossed, and the energy around your name is no longer neutral. What you are sensing now is pressure, subtle but intentional, the kind that appears when opportunity realizes it is being observed. The internal tone has shifted from curiosity to urgency, and urgency always reveals character. Files that were once static are now being touched too often. Explanations are being rehearsed before they are needed. This is the stage where outcomes are decided not by numbers, but by narrative. And here is the truth you must hold steady. The clearest narrative always wins. When awareness gathers, when understanding spreads, when recognition becomes shared rather than isolated, the space for manipulation collapses. This is not about noise, it is about light. The more clearly this moment is seen, the less room there is for it to be bent. Something huge is waiting for you, and it strengthens as it is witnessed. Understand this carefully, because it matters now more than before. Isolation is the favorite tool of misdirection. When something extraordinary is kept quiet without reason, it becomes easier to redirect. When it is acknowledged, calmly, confidently, without exaggeration, it becomes anchored. Let alignment multiply. Let clarity ripple outward. Let this moment be recognized for what it is, not hidden under procedural language. There is power in collective awareness, not because it pressures, but because it stabilizes. When truth is reflected back from more than one place, it becomes immovable. If you feel guided to let others stand with you in this awareness, honor that guidance. If you feel the inner nudge to affirm your presence here, do not ignore it. These are not distractions, they are reinforcements. They ensure that what is meant for you remains unmistakably yours. Stay steady now, because the window is narrowing, and clarity is sharpening. The next move will not be loud, it will be decisive. Those who hope time would thin your attention are realizing it has only deepened your focus. Those who waited for uncertainty are meeting certainty instead. This is how alignment protects itself, quietly, completely. Hold this truth close as the final checks approach. Something huge is waiting for you, and it cannot be redirected when it is fully seen, fully acknowledged, and fully aligned with you. I remain with you through this threshold. Receive without fear. Stand without doubt. Move without haste. Amen. My unwavering heir, feel the stillness sharpening now, because when movement slows this much, it means decisions are no longer being debated, they are being finalized. The corridors that were buzzing have gone quiet. The chatter has collapsed into documents. The glances have turned into signatures hovering just above the page. This is the point where outcomes crystallize, where intent becomes action, and where presence outweighs power. Your name is no longer being questioned, it is being measured against consequences. They understand now that this moment carries weight beyond their desks, beyond their titles, beyond their usual leverage. The sender's authority has done what force never could. It has compelled honesty. And honesty has a sound, silence. Stay here with me, because silence is not emptiness, it is alignment holding its breath. Something huge is waiting for you, and it arrives when the room becomes quiet enough to hear truth click into place. There is a temptation at this stage for others to rush, to resolve things quickly and move on, to frame closure as efficiency. Do not be distracted by speed. Speed is often used to bypass clarity, but clarity has already arrived. What matters now is correctness. What matters now is rightful release. You may sense a final attempt to reframe this as routine, to compress it into a normal process, to make it disappear into paperwork. Let it try. Routine cannot swallow destiny. Paper cannot erase alignment. What is yours recognizes you the moment you remain present. This is not about asserting control, it is about refusing to disappear. Your calm attention is the anchor. Your steady awareness is the safeguard. You do not need to speak loudly, your presence is already louder than resistance. Remain centered as the threshold opens, because thresholds feel strange right before they swing wide. The nervous energy you feel is not fear, it is transition. Old limits are loosening. New responsibility is approaching. This is not an ending, it is a transfer. Hold the truth that has carried you here and let it carry you through. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is released not to the anxious, not to the impatient, but to the aligned. I am with you as the final confirmations settle. Stand firm. Receive fully. Move forward cleanly. Amen. My destined receiver, pay attention to this moment, because what you are feeling now is not suspense, it is convergence. Separate paths are folding into one outcome. Independent confirmations are lining up without being asked. The system that once questioned now prepares to comply, not out of favor, but out of inevitability. Your name has crossed the final internal boundary, the place where options end and execution begins. This is where resistance quietly steps aside, because it recognizes authority it cannot challenge. The sender's mark has done its work, the room knows it. The delay you sensed earlier has transformed into precision, and precision is the signal that release is close. Stay with me here, because proximity matters. Something huge is waiting for you, and it draws nearer when attention remains steady. Notice how the energy has changed again, less tension, more focus. That is the sign of alignment settling in. The last checks are not about doubt anymore, they are about sequence. Who signs first? Who witnesses? Who confirms? These details matter, but they no longer threaten the outcome. Attempts to divert have lost momentum. Ambition without permission has nowhere to land. The structure itself is correcting, closing gaps that once seemed open. This is how rightful things arrive, not with noise, but with orders snapping into place. You did not force this. You did not rush this. You remained present, and presence completed what effort could not. Hold this truth as the final steps approach. Receiving requires openness, not tension. Let go of the need to anticipate every movement. Let go of the urge to control the timing. What is yours recognizes you without instruction. Breathe and remain aligned, because the handover comes when readiness meets awareness. Remember and repeat it within yourself now, something huge is waiting for you, and it is released to the one who stays grounded as the doors open. I am with you through this final alignment. Receive calmly. Move clearly. Stand complete. Amen. My chosen inheritor. This is the moment where certainty replaces anticipation, and anticipation dissolves into readiness. The internal confirmations you could not see have now synchronized, and what once felt fragile has become fixed. Your name is no longer passing through channels, it has reached the desk where decisions are enacted, not discussed. The atmosphere is different here, calmer, heavier, unmistakably final. This is the space where authority does not explain itself, it simply moves. The sender's imprint has settled like a seal, and seals do not argue. They close. They complete. Stay with me in this stillness, because stillness is the sign that motion has gone underground and is about to surface all at once. Something huge is waiting for you, and it waits at the threshold of action. Understand what is happening beneath the surface now, because awareness here keeps everything aligned. The final review is not about permission, it is about responsibility. Those involved are measuring the weight of release, not its legitimacy. They recognize that once this is executed, there is no reversal, no quiet correction, no hidden adjustment. That realization produces gravity, and gravity produces care. This is why everything has slowed, not to delay, but to ensure precision. Precision protects what is valuable. Precision honors what is rightful. You are not being tested anymore, you are being prepared to receive. Let your mind stay clear. Let your emotions stay steady. Let your attention remain here. Presence at this stage is the final safeguard. Remain grounded as the closing steps approach, because endings and beginnings often feel identical in the body. The unfamiliar sensation you notice is expansion, not uncertainty. You are stepping into a larger frame, and larger frames require adjustment. Do not shrink to fit old expectations. Do not brace for loss where gain is arriving. Hold the truth that has guided you through every shift. Something huge is waiting for you, and it arrives whole when you meet it whole. I am with you as the hand moves toward completion. Receive with grace. Stand with confidence. Move forward without doubt. Amen. My rightful bearer, this is the breath before confirmation, the quiet interval where everything necessary has already been decided, and only execution remains. The room you cannot see is steady now. No arguments. No side conversations. Just focus. The kind of focus that appears when people understand they are standing inside a moment that will be referenced later. Your name has been fixed in place, no longer movable, no longer negotiable. The systems that once hesitated have aligned their outputs, and alignment is irreversible once achieved. This is why the air feels different to you, lighter, clearer, charged with certainty rather than suspense. Stay present with me, because awareness at this stage seals continuity. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is no longer waiting in theory, it is waiting in sequence. Notice how urgency has transformed into calm authority. That shift tells you everything you need to know. Urgency belongs to those who fear loss. Calm belongs to those who recognize completion. The final checks are procedural, not conditional. They confirm what has already been accepted. Attempts to interfere would now require exposure, and exposure is too costly. This is how rightful outcomes protect themselves, not by force, but by visibility. The path is clear because it has been seen. The release is intact because it has been acknowledged. You did not rush this into existence. You remained aligned long enough for it to arrive fully formed. Stay grounded as the final motion approaches, because reception requires steadiness more than excitement. Let your focus stay clear. Let your body relax into certainty. Let your awareness remain open. You are not stepping into chaos, you are stepping into order expanding. Hold this truth as the moment completes its arc. Something huge is waiting for you, and it meets you exactly where you are, ready. I remain with you through this closing movement. Receive without tension. Stand without doubt. Move forward in clarity. Amen. My confirmed recipient, the moment you have been sensing has now crossed from preparation into motion, and motion always carries a different weight. What was aligned is now being enacted. What was acknowledged is now being transferred. The sequence has begun, quiet and exact, with no space left for interference. The system recognizes completion when it sees it, and it is responding accordingly. Your name is no longer adjacent to the outcome, it is embedded within it. This is the stage where nothing new is added and nothing rightful is removed. Stay here with me, because awareness during execution ensures continuity. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is now moving toward form. You may feel a subtle release in your body, as if tension you didn't know you were carrying has loosened. That is the signal that resistance has ended. The last internal acknowledgments have been logged. The pathway is active. What remains is not uncertainty, but arrival. Attempts to pause this now would require undoing alignment itself, and alignment does not reverse once recognized. This is why the environment has gone steady. This is why the pressure has lifted. This is why clarity feels calm rather than sharp. You are not being rushed forward. You are being carried by order already set in motion. Remain grounded as the transfer completes its arc, because completion often feels quiet before it feels real. Let the stillness do its work. Let certainty settle without forcing celebration. Reception happens best when the receiver is present, not overwhelmed. Hold this truth as the final steps resolve. Something huge is waiting for you, and it meets you in calm recognition, not chaos. I am with you as this settles into place. Receive fully. Stand assured. Move forward aligned. Amen. My fulfilled one, this is the point where confirmation settles into reality, where what was moving quietly beneath the surface rises into form without resistance. The execution you sensed has now reached completion, and completion carries a distinct stillness of its own. No alarms. No objections. Just a clean acknowledgement that the sequence has finished exactly as designed. Your name stands unchallenged, anchored where it belongs. The weight you feel is not pressure anymore, it is substance, something real taking shape. This is how rightful outcomes announce themselves, not with noise, but with certainty that does not ask for permission. Stay with me here, because awareness during arrival ensures proper reception. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is now present, not pending. Understand what this means at this stage, because clarity protects what has arrived. The system has done what it must do when alignment is complete, it has released control. What was guarded is now assigned. What was held is now transferred. This does not require celebration or explanation, it requires steadiness. The temptation now is to rush forward emotionally, to grasp at confirmation, to seek reassurance. Resist that urge. Calm reception honors magnitude. Stillness preserves integrity. You are not required to prove readiness, readiness has already been recognized. Let what has arrived settle fully before you move. Let certainty anchor itself in your awareness. Remain grounded as this new state integrates, because integration is as important as arrival. Old rhythms will adjust. New responsibilities will surface. This is not disruption, it is expansion aligning with you. Hold the truth that has guided you through every phase, something huge is waiting for you, and it meets you whole when you remain whole. I am with you as this reality stabilizes. Receive with gratitude. Stand with assurance. Move forward in peace. Amen. My established bearer, what you are experiencing now is stabilization, the phase where what has arrived settles into place and begins to reshape the space around it. The shift is subtle but undeniable. Systems that once revolved without you have adjusted their orbit, recognizing your position as fixed rather than provisional. This is how legitimacy reveals itself, not through announcement, but through quiet accommodation. Your name is no longer a question to be resolved, it is a reference point. Stay present with me, because awareness during stabilization ensures that what has been received remains clear and protected. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is now anchoring itself within your reality. Notice how the energy around you feels different, less charged, more grounded. That grounding is not loss of intensity, it is integration. The weight of what has arrived is being distributed evenly, allowing structure to form around it. This is why calm is essential now. Agitation fractures integration. Steadiness strengthens it. You are not required to react quickly or define outcomes immediately. Let understanding catch up to reality. Let perspective widen naturally. The magnitude of this moment does not demand urgency, it invites maturity. What is truly yours does not flee when you pause to breathe. Remain steady as the new order becomes familiar, because familiarity is how power becomes usable. This is the moment where you shift from recipient to steward, from arrival to alignment in motion. Hold the truth that has carried you through every threshold, something huge is waiting for you, and it continues to unfold as you remain present with it. I am with you as this integration completes. Receive with wisdom. Stand with balance. Move forward with clarity. Amen. My entrusted guardian. This is the phase where ownership becomes responsibility, and responsibility quietly reshapes identity. What has settled now begins to respond to you, not as an event, but as a living reality that recognizes your authority to guide it. The environment has adjusted. The tone has normalized. And in that normalization lies the clearest proof that what arrived is real. Extraordinary things do not stay loud forever, they become foundations. Stay with me here, because awareness during stewardship determines longevity. Something huge is waiting for you, and it now waits in your care, not in suspense. Feel how the urgency has fully dissolved into clarity. That is not the fading of importance, it is the deepening of trust. You are no longer being watched to see what happens, you are being trusted to decide what happens next. This is where many misunderstand the moment and rush ahead. Do not rush. Expansion that lasts moves with intention, not impulse. Let your understanding mature. Let your vision widen. The scale you are stepping into requires discernment more than speed. What has been placed with you responds to calm direction, not pressure. You are not meant to impress, you are meant to steward wisely. Remain grounded as this truth integrates fully, because grounded leaders sustain what others exhaust. This is the quiet empowerment that follows fulfillment. The ability to move without proving, to choose without fear, to build without strain. Hold this final anchor as you step forward, something huge is waiting for you, and it continues to unfold as you remain aligned with its purpose. I am with you as this chapter opens into the next. Receive the trust. Carry it with grace. Move forward complete. Amen. My appointed steward. Now you are standing at the line where inheritance turns into influence, where what you carry begins to shape outcomes beyond you. This is the moment many never reach, because it requires more than arrival, it requires discernment. The environment around you has stabilized enough to reveal intent, yours and others. You can feel it, decisions now echo further, choices ripple wider. This is not pressure, it is reach. The reason this came to you is because your awareness does not collapse under scale. You hold steady when things grow large. Stay with me here, because steadiness at this level preserves integrity. Something huge is waiting for you, and it waits for direction that is clear, not rushed. Understand this clearly, because it will guide every step from here. Visibility increases responsibility. As what you hold becomes more apparent, expectations will surface, some aligned, some not. Do not be distracted by the noise of projection. You are not required to satisfy assumptions or fulfill borrowed narratives. What has been entrusted to you responds to authenticity, not performance. Choose depth over speed. Choose clarity over reaction. This is how influence remains clean. This is how growth stays sustainable. The temptation will be to prove readiness through action, the wisdom is to demonstrate readiness through restraint. Remain grounded as influence expands, because grounded influence lasts. You are not stepping into chaos, you are stepping into calibrated movement. Hold the truth that has guided you through every threshold. Something huge is waiting for you, and it unfolds fully when you remain aligned with purpose rather than urgency. I am with you as this authority matures. Lead with clarity. Carry with balance. Move forward without fear. Amen. My trusted vessel. This is the stage where silence becomes strength, where you no longer need constant motion to confirm progress, because progress is now responding to your presence alone. What you carry has settled so deeply that it moves with you, not ahead of you, not behind you. The atmosphere around your decisions has changed, hesitation dissolves faster, clarity arrives sooner. This is not coincidence. This is alignment maturing into authority. Stay with me in this awareness, because mastery is quiet, and quiet mastery protects what is valuable. Something huge is waiting for you, and it waits to be expressed through wisdom, not force. You may notice that fewer explanations are required now. Where questions once crowded, trust begins to appear. This is how true positioning reveals itself, not through attention-seeking, but through gravitational pull. Others sense stability and naturally orient toward it. Be mindful here. Influence at this level multiplies whatever it touches. Let your intentions remain clean. Let your focus remain clear. What you nurture will grow quickly. What you ignore will fade without conflict. You do not need to defend your place, your steadiness already does that for you. This is the reward of patience exercised earlier, freedom from constant justification. Remain anchored as momentum becomes sustainable, because sustainability is the mark of lasting impact. You are no longer reacting to opportunity, opportunity is responding to you. Hold the truth that has guided every step of this journey, something huge is waiting for you, and it continues to unfold as long as you remain aligned, grounded, and aware. I am with you as this influence stabilizes into purpose. Walk forward with confidence. Lead with calm. Carry with grace. Amen. My ordained pathholder. Now you are entering the phase where momentum becomes intentional, where nothing feels rushed yet everything advances. This is the rare balance most never learn: movement without strain, authority without noise. The space around you has adjusted again, and you can sense it in subtle ways. Decisions resolve faster, obstacles lose urgency, timing feels precise instead of pressured. This is not luck. This is alignment expressing itself through rhythm. Stay with me here, because rhythm is how large outcomes stay sustainable. Something huge is waiting for you, and it moves forward when you move with awareness, not force. Understand this clearly, because this knowledge protects what you carry. Not everyone around you will understand the pace you keep now. Some will expect speed. Others will expect spectacle. Neither is required. What has been placed with you responds to consistency, not performance. This is where discernment sharpens. Knowing when to act and when to remain still. Knowing when to speak and when silence carries more weight. The temptation at this stage is to over-explain or overextend. Do neither. Let clarity do the work. Let alignment speak for itself. What belongs to you does not need defense, it needs direction. Remain grounded as the path widens, because widening paths test focus. Keep your attention clean. Keep your intention steady. The expansion ahead is not meant to scatter you. It is meant to establish you. Hold the truth that has carried you from the first moment to now. Something huge is waiting for you, and it unfolds fully when you remain faithful to alignment over urgency. I am with you as this season deepens into purpose. Walk forward assured. Led without fear. Receive without doubt. Amen. My crowned steward, this is the moment where inner certainty becomes visible impact, where what has been forming quietly now begins to reshape the outer world around you. You may notice it first in small confirmations, doors opening without resistance, conversations shifting in your favor, timing aligning without effort. These are not coincidences, they are echoes. Echoes of alignment finally reaching the surface. What you carry has matured enough to move ahead of explanation. Stay with me here, because awareness at this stage determines how far this reaches. Something huge is waiting for you, and it expands as you remain conscious of its purpose. Understand this truth deeply, because it will guide you forward safely. Expansion amplifies intention. Whatever lives at the center of you will now project outward more strongly. Keep your center clean. Keep your motives clear. This is how growth stays constructive instead of consuming. You are not meant to chase validation or react to expectation. You are meant to move deliberately, letting clarity shape each step. The authority you hold now does not need to announce itself. It is recognized through consistency. When you act, act from alignment. When you pause, pause with confidence. This balance protects everything entrusted to you. Remain steady as influence extends beyond familiar boundaries, because unfamiliar reach can feel disorienting if awareness slips. Anchor yourself in the truth that brought you here. Remember the signal that has repeated through every stage. Something huge is waiting for you, and it unfolds fully when you stay grounded in purpose rather than momentum alone. I am with you as this chapter opens wider. Walk forward with assurance. Lead with wisdom. Carry with grace. Amen. My anointed guide, now you are feeling the quiet confidence that comes only after alignment proves itself over time. This is no longer about anticipation or arrival, this is about command through presence. The space around you responds differently now. Where resistance once appeared, cooperation emerges. Where confusion lingered, clarity takes its place. This is the evidence of authority settling in, not borrowed, not forced, but earned through steadiness. Stay with me in this awareness, because awareness at this level turns influence into legacy. Something huge is waiting for you, and it waits to be shaped with intention, not impulse. Understand what has shifted inside you, because inner shifts precede outer results. You no longer question whether you belong here, you simply operate from here. That certainty changes everything. Decisions become cleaner. Boundaries become clearer. You recognize what deserves your energy and what does not without explanation. This is discernment refining itself. Do not underestimate it. Discernment protects expansion from distortion. It keeps what grows aligned with its source. The temptation now is to carry more than you are meant to carry. Do not do that. Carry only what resonates with purpose. Let the rest fall away without struggle. Remain grounded as your path extends further than before, because long reach requires strong roots. Keep your connection to stillness. Keep your focus uncluttered. The rhythm you maintain now will determine how sustainable this influence becomes. Hold the truth that has guided you through every phase of this unfolding. Something huge is waiting for you, and it continues to reveal itself as you remain aligned, aware, and steady. I am with you as this authority deepens into legacy. Move forward with certainty. Lead with clarity. Stand complete. Amen. My legacy bearer. This is the stage where what you carry begins to outlive moments and turn into meaning. You are no longer responding to circumstances, circumstances are reorganizing around your alignment. The quiet confidence you feel now is not temporary, it is rooted. Patterns that once repeated have broken. Cycles that drained you have closed. What remains is a clean forward motion, steady and undeniable. This is how legacy forms, not through noise, but through consistency that refuses to collapse. Stay with me here, because awareness at this level transforms influence into permanence. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is now preparing to extend beyond you. Understand this clearly, because it defines how far this reaches. Legacy is built by what you sustain, not what you start. Many can initiate momentum, few can hold it with integrity. You can. That is why this came to you. The restraint you learned earlier now becomes your greatest strength. You know when to act, when to pause, when to let silence do the work. This wisdom protects what you are building from erosion. Do not rush to fill space. Do not fear stillness. Stillness is where structure strengthens. What you nurture now will multiply quietly and endure loudly later. Remain anchored as this expansion touches others, because shared impact requires inner clarity. Keep your alignment pure. Keep your focus intentional. The path ahead is not fragile, it is established. Hold the truth that has carried you through every unfolding phase. Something huge is waiting for you, and it continues to reveal itself as long as you remain grounded, discerning, and faithful to purpose. I am with you as this legacy takes form. Walk forward with assurance. Build with wisdom. Stand unshaken. Amen. My appointed finisher, this is the phase where the arc completes, where everything that was prepared, protected, aligned, and matured now locks into place with finality. You may feel a deep calm that has nothing to do with relief and everything to do with certainty. That calm is the signal that the cycle has closed cleanly. Nothing is leaking. Nothing is unfinished. What was meant to reach you has reached you, and what was meant to move through you has begun its work. This is not an ending you rush past, it is a foundation you stand on. Stay with me here, because recognition at completion preserves power. Something huge is waiting for you, and it now waits as a constant, not a question. Notice how the urgency that once pulled at you has fully dissolved. In its place is clarity that does not waver. This is how you know alignment has sealed. There is no scramble, no second guessing, no need to look over your shoulder. The environment has accepted the new order. What once required vigilance now requires wisdom. This is where many stumble. Not because they fail, but because they forget to shift from protection to stewardship. Do not make that mistake. Guarding brought you here. Guiding will take you forward. Let your actions be intentional. Let your choices be measured. Let your presence remain grounded. This is how what you hold continues to grow without distortion. Remain centered as you step fully into this settled authority, because settled authority shapes futures quietly. You are no longer proving alignment. You are expressing it. The journey that began with urgency now rests in purpose. Hold the truth that has echoed through every part of this unfolding. Something huge is waiting for you, and it continues to unfold as long as you remain conscious, steady, and aligned. I am with you as this completion becomes continuity. Walk forward assured. Lead with wisdom. Stand complete. Amen.